Meanwhile, has the Russia investigation been turned on its head? Fusion GPS is the organization that was behind a widely discredited Trump-Russia dossier. It's coming under closer congressional scrutiny, and the former British spy who put the dossier together may be forced to testify both here and in Britain about his Russian connections. Here now is Daniel Hoffman, a former CIA station chief who worked in Moscow for several years. Daniel, good to see you again. Thank you for coming in. You're in a unique position to tell us what was going on here. Do you think that the Fusion GPS dossier, or the one that was supplied to Fusion, was a bit of Russian disinformation? We used that term a lot during the Soviet Union. Does it sound like that to you?
Well, first, just a couple of quick background points. The Russian who is bringing the defamation suit against the British former MI6 officer Steele is Alexei Gubarev. He's the CEO of XBT Holdings. He lives in Cyprus, but operates extensively throughout Europe and the United States. He supplies web servers. And he's upset because he believes that he's losing clients, because in the dossier it claims that he was responsible for viruses and malware hacking into the Democratic National Committee. From my reading of this, there are just a lot of open questions, and I would be wary of making any precipitous conclusions.
Right, but what's happened, is, of course, is it became a political tool of both parties, if you will, but in particular the Democrats, who are saying, even now, they're saying this proves that there was collusion between Trump and the Russians, when in fact Fusion GPS has done a lot of work for Democrats, and they're the ones that came out with information that was critical of Donald Trump, and they were working with the Russians.
Yeah, that's true, and I think there are three really key unanswered questions here. One is, we still haven't seen the forensics on the DNC servers. That's important. We don't know the extent to which Gubarev was linked with Russian intelligence or the Russian government. That's also important. And then third, we don't know much about Steele's sources and methods. You know, an intelligence officer looking at this would want to make analytical conclusions. It's not important only what we believe, it's how strongly we believe it. And that's based on the veracity of sources, and I'm not so sure how great Steele's sources were.
But it seemed like there was an attempt by the Russians leading up to this election to lure both parties, individuals. We had that June 2016 meeting with Donald Trump Jr. And this Russian lawyer, this woman lawyer, which seemed to kind of lure them in. Come on, we got some information about Hillary. She had nothing. At the same time, you have Fusion GPS kind of luring the Democrats in. Come on, we've got some really damning details about Donald Trump and Russia. That turns out to be largely discredited, if not completely. So it was an attempt by the Russians to lure both sides in with bad information.
Yeah, I agree. Up to this point, my reading of all the evidence is that Russia wanted writ large to soil our democratic institutions, and I think that's where the evidence points us right now.
And that's what they've been doing for decades. Daniel Hoffman, thank you for your service, sir, and thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you.